Hey everybody, Dan Cheney back with you again for another Music Charts Archive show here on DJNTV. Well, it's been a full year since I started this show, actually. Where does the time go? So for today's show, I thought, why not do the highest charting songs with the word year in the title? It won't be including some seasonal songs like Most Wonderful Time of the Year by Andy Williams. The first three songs on the list are all by country artists. The top three songs were all nominated for Grammys, but with 0 wins. And one of the songs was described by the artist as dumb but effective and no fun. So stay where you are and we'll check out those songs and the 10 highest charting songs with the word year in the title on this week's edition of the Music Charts Archive Show.
DJ Event Planner will change the way you manage and run your business. Streamline all of your procedures and software into one easy-to-manage system. DJ Event Planner, the ultimate online planning tool.
Welcome to this week's Music Charts Archive show. I'm Dan Cheney, and I've been doing this show for a year, so I'm counting down the highest charting songs with the word year in the title. So let's start the chart. At number 10, My Next 30 Years by Tim McGraw. This was the 14th chart hit for Tim McGraw on the pop charts. The song was written by Phil Vassar and was the 5th and final single from McGraw's album A Place in the Sun. It peaked at number 27 at the very end of the year 2000. It hit number 1 on the country singles chart. In the song, the narrator is 30 years old and thinks about what he wants his next 30 years in life to look like. And he sounds pretty optimistic. At number 9, 7-Year Ache by Rosann Cash. Now, Rosann Cash is the oldest daughter of Johnny Cash and his first wife, Vivian. She had 10 number 1 country hits in the 80s, but 7-Year Ache was the only song that crossed over to the pop charts. It was her first number 1 country hit and was from her album of the same name. It peaked at number 22 in July of 1981. Many feel the song is semi-autobiographical. It's about a rocky relationship and a play on the phrase 7-year itch, where people in relationships tend to start to lose something after 7 years of being together. Rosann Cash married Rodney Crowell, who produced the song in 1979. The two divorced in 1992. At number 8, Through the Years by Kenny Rogers. We have back-to-back-to-back country crossover hits here. While Rosann Cash had one crossover pop hit, Kenny Rogers had a bunch of them. Through the Years was the 4th single from his Share Your Love album. It peaked at number 13 in March of 1982, and it hit number 5 on the country chart and number 1 on the adult contemporary chart. The song was first offered to Barry Manilow, Mac Davis, and Glenn Campbell, but they all passed on it. The song, about staying in a relationship through the ups and downs, was recorded while Rogers was married to his 4th wife, Mary Ann, and they divorced in 1993. Number 7 is Reelin In The Years by Steely Dan. This was the 2nd chart single for Steely Dan right after Do It Again. Both songs were from the Can't Buy a Thrill album. Reelin In The Years peaked at number 11 in 1973. The guitar solo in the song is well regarded and was played by session musician Elliot Randall. Jimmy Page of Led Zeppelin said in an interview once that it's his favorite guitar solo of all time. The lyrics are basically about thinking about a relationship after it's broken up. And while the song is popular with fans, Steely Dan themselves are not exactly a fan of the song. Donald Fagen has said the song is dumb but effective, and Walter Becker said it's no fun. Number 6 on the list, Golden Years by David Bowie. David Bowie didn't have a top 10 hit in the US until he hit number 1 with Fame in 1975. Golden Years was the next single he had, and it peaked at number 10 early in 1976. The two songs were from different albums. Fame was from the Young Americans album, while Golden Years was from the Station to Station album. It was the first track recorded for the album and was completed relatively quickly. while the rest of the album seemed to take forever, according to co-producer Harry Maslin. The track was supposedly originally written for Elvis Presley to cover, but he turned it down. Presley's manager, Colonel Tom Parker, thought Bowie should write some songs for Presley, and Bowie would have loved that, but it never happened. Welcome back to this week's Music Charts Archive show. Today we're counting down the 10 highest charting songs with the word year in the title, and it's time for the top 5. At number 5, Year of the Cat by Al Stewart. British singer-songwriter Al Stewart charted 5 songs in the US, and this was his first and probably his most recognizable. It was from the album of the same name and peaked at number 8 in 1977. The song was recorded at Abbey Road Studios in London and was produced by Alan Parsons. The song runs for 6 minutes and 40 seconds, and 4 minutes of that is basically instrumental sections. The lyrics are about a tourist who encounters a mysterious woman, spends the night with her, and then misses his tour bus and loses his ticket on the next day. Number 4 is All Those Years Ago by George Harrison. All Those Years Ago was the 11th solo single in the US for Harrison after the Beatles. It was from his album Somewhere in England and peaked at number 2 in July of 1981. Harrison had originally written the song for Ringo Starr to record, but it didn't work out. Harrison later changed the lyrics that were originally meant for Starr to be a tribute to John Lennon after the former bandmate Lennon was murdered. The new lyrics reference the songs All You Need Is Love and Imagine. Ringo Starr and Paul McCartney both appear on the track, and it was the last time the three appeared on a charting song together until the Beatles recently released Free as a Bird in 1995. Number 3 on our list is 7 Years by Lukas Graham. Lukas Graham is a Danish band that was formed in 2011, and their second album, often referred to as the Blue Album, was released in 2015. And later that year, the band premiered the song 7 Years for American television audiences on the Conan O'Brien Show. The song would eventually peak at number 2 in the US in April of 2016. Frontman Lucas Forchhammer described 7 Years as a song about his life so far and what he hopes to achieve in the future. The lyrics stop at the age of 60 because his father died at the age of 61. The song was nominated for Grammy Awards for Record and Song of the Year, but it lost both categories to Hello by Adele. Number 2 on our list, The Living Years by Mike and the Mechanics. Mike and the Mechanics was a side project for Genesis founding member Mike Rutherford. Rutherford wrote this song with B.A. Robertson, and it's about a son who regrets not reconciling with his now deceased father. I've read that vocalist Paul Carrick's father actually did die in an industrial accident when Carrick was just 11 years old. The song became the band's third top 10 hit and their first and only number 1 single. It reached the top in March of 1989. The Living Years was nominated for Grammys for Record and Song of the Year, but it also lost both categories, this time to Bette Midler's Wind Beneath My Wings. And at number 1 on our list of the top highest charting songs with the word year in the title is Holding Back the Years by Simply Red. The British band Simply Red was formed in 1985, and they released their first studio album, Picture Book, later that same year. Several singles were released in the UK, but they didn't have a single in the US until releasing this song in 1986. It reached number 1 in July of 1986. The band would eventually chart 7 songs in the US and would hit number 1 again in 1989 with a remake of If You Don't Know Me By Now. Songwriter and lead singer Mick Hucknall wrote the song when he was 17. His mother had left the family when Mick was just 3 years old, and that upheaval in his family was the inspiration for the song. Well, there you have it. Those are the 10 highest charting songs with the word year in the title. What's your favorite? Let me know in the comments. I think I'm going to go with Holding Back the Years as my favorite, followed probably by Year of the Cat by Al Stewart. This has been Dan Cheney for the Music Charts Archive Show, and be sure to join me again next time for another Top 10 list right here on DJNTV.